Why is life assurance so important?
You know, in certain jurisdictions, why do they freeze bank accounts? Is to make sure all your debts and liabilities are paid. If you have a single bank account in the UK, why do they block it? Is to make sure everything's settled. What people don't realise that if there's any inheritance tax that needs to be paid, it will come out the estate.
Okay.
If you have any credit cards, you have any loans, liabilities, it's got to be settled first. That is the job of the executor, to make sure everything is in order. So when we was talking about executors, it's a huge responsibility. They need to know where the money is. They need to know what they're doing. How life insurance help is making sure if there's any debts or liabilities, it's covered.
Sure.
Now you tell me, how many people have properties, mortgages in the UK?
Most.
The banks take the property as security, that if the person pass away or can't afford to keep up with the repayments, they will repossess the property.
Sure.
Now, what happens during your lifetime, it's a different matter. Let's talk about death. I'm asking you a question, Faisal. If you have a mortgage on the property and the property is worth good money, your wife may be a homemaker. Would you like her to give her an unencumbered property, no debt?
Of course.
Or give her a property and she's got to pay for the installments? What do you prefer?
No, of course. I mean, I would expect, especially for mortgages, I hope, that there would be some sort of insurance policy, God forbid, if you did pass away. That, I mean, here in the UK, I think you have to have it, I think.
Unfortunately, no, it's not mandatory.
Really?
No, it's not.
I thought it was.
I thought so too, but I know many people who have mortgages, and life insurance is optional. It may be that they recommend it.
Sure.
But it's not mandatory. In other jurisdictions, it's mandatory. Now, if you take the UAE now, for example, any mortgage you take out, life insurance is a must, whether you like it or not. So you might get some people who's against life insurance altogether, but they don't have a choice. In the UK, the banks look at the property as security and say, you know what, we've got the property.
Yeah.
If something happened, we will get our property back.
That's their insurance policy.
That's it. But my view is slightly different. You owe the bank, say, I don't know, £500,000. Take out a policy.
Yep.
It's so cheap to set up. By the way, I don't sell life insurance.
Not yet.
No, I don't sell it. The reason being is it's a very regulated industry, but I just recommend you should have it. But there are many providers out there that can assist with life insurance planning. I can, I know people who's also, dealing with this matter. But I say to the viewers, have life insurance.
So I guess having the life insurance is one thing, but then I guess you've got to let people know that you've got it.
That's coming back to the basic when I told you it's important you need to have a list of assets. And an asset is also a policy you have, a life insurance policy. Write it down, share it, and update it. Now, if you take out a life insurance policy, how many people complete the beneficiary form? You'll be shocked. No one does it. So if you're the insurance company and you find out somebody has died, the first thing you would check is, who am I giving this money to?
Yep.
So you need to complete the beneficiary form as well.
So I think there's two things that come to mind there. A, who tells the insurance company, number one. And number two, I'm imagining there must be pots and pots of money somewhere of insurance policies, life insurance policies that have just not been claimed.
Unfortunately, there are thousands, tens of thousands of policy globally that hasn't been claimed, only because no one is sharing the information. That's why, like I said to you earlier, you make a list of assets, write everything down, including your life insurance.
Sure.
Share this information, and it's your job to update the family, telling them that I've got this policy, or I've closed this policy, or whatever the situation may be.
I guess it's a bizarre situation. If you're paying for an insurance policy, that's fantastic, but then it makes no sense to not tell people you've paid all this money for the insurance.
You'd be surprised. I mean, I've seen some programs, documentaries on YouTube. You're going to laugh at this, where there's been cases where the wife tried to kill the husband just to get the life insurance money.
Well, we don't condone that, do we? Of course not.
Yes,
yeah, it's crazy.
It's crazy, but the point I'm trying to say that these things do happen. But I'm looking post-death. We need to make sure the money's paid.
But I'm guessing also this poor wife needs to be sure that she's the beneficiary.
Yes, that's why it's important that you complete the beneficiary form.
Okay, so the main message here is, of course, if you do have a life insurance policy, let people know, and just make the details known that you do have such a policy.
That's correct.
Who the beneficiary is, so that the insurance and the bank can let those people know.
Exactly. So let's say you owe the bank £500,000. Take out a policy of 500. The bank is secured.
Indeed.
So, but if you want to take out a blanket policy where you have other loans, then take out £1 million, for example. The bank gets 500. Your wife gets some change. I mean, don't forget, if your wife is a homemaker, she needs to live.
Okay.
Do you know why do the majority of the women remarry?
Tell me.
It's financial security. They don't have the money.
Wow.
Think about it.
Yeah, no, makes sense. It's a tough one, isn't it?
It's very tough, and I know that certain people look at life insurance as not, it's not a right document. You shouldn't be doing it, but everyone is different.
Of course.
I just, in my belief, saying that if you have debts and liabilities, it's got to be settled.
And cover them.
And cover them. So that's why we also talk about, or we look at even, because the life insurance we're referring to in our conversation is personal.
Sure.
What about business life insurance?
Yep.
Let's say you're running a business. Let's say you have a business of 3 partners. Each partner owns a share of the business. You can set up something called partnership insurance. So if one partner passes away, you buy the share off the family, but you don't need to put your hands into your pocket to give the money.
Sure.
The partnership insurance is paid to the company. You use that money to buy the share of the business partner that passed away.
Perfect. And then the ownership of the company, that individual doesn't have that ownership anymore. It's passed between the other two partners.
So with the will, you need a life insurance. You should have an agreement so that if the wife is going to sell the share of the business, the other business partners have first refusal.
Indeed.
So these are the things you need to factor in when you're looking at covering your businesses interest.
And reduces your risk as well to a degree.
Exactly.
And it's called partnership insurance.
That's great. I mean, this is a term I've come up with. I mean, at the end of the day, it's just life insurance.
Okay, but
I've got a question for you. What's the difference between insurance and assurance?
Insurance starts with an I.
Yes.
And assurance starts with an A. That's as far as I can go.
Okay. If you look at car, it's always car insurance.
Yep.
Not car assurance.
No, correct.
But when you look at life, it's not life insurance, it's life assurance.
Right.
The difference is you may have a car accident, you may not have one.
Yep.
But we're all going to pass away. That's why it's life insurance, because it will guarantee to pay out one day. But car insurance is not guaranteed because you might not have an accident.
Wow. Well, I think we've all learned something today. That's a very interesting fact.
Like I said, I don't sell life insurance.
Maybe that's an untapped piece of experience that you have there. Okay, Mohammed, thank you very much indeed for that. The importance of life assurance. If you have a policy, let people know. And fill
in the beneficiary form.
That's it. Fill in the beneficiaries form. And that way the bank and the assurance companies won't keep the money. There's a good chance it will end up where it should be and to the person you wish it to go to.
That is correct.
Very good. Thank you very much, Mohammed. Great clarification there. And I've learned something today, insurance versus assurance. I'm going to share that with someone tonight. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you, Faisal.